Hello, potato. I am going to start off today's video with the same sort of disclaimer that I always start these videos off with nowadays, and that is that I am not a vegan, I'm not even a vegetarian. What I am is someone who understands that not everything that enters my mouth needs to, at one point, had a face. And so I am interested in trying meat alternative foods, your Impossibles, your Skinny Butchers, your Beyonds, and that's where we are today with Beyond Meat Jerky. Now, I have done a video on Beyond Meat Jerky before, a couple years ago now, I think. I did a video on the original flavor and I believe the teriyaki flavor, and at the time I noticed on the back of the packet it said there was also a hot and spicy flavor, which I had not been aware of and had not found when I did that video. And I believe I said in that video that if I did find it, I would come back and do a video on it. Well, actually quite a while ago, a few months ago, I did find it. Beyond Meat Jerky, hot and spicy, no GMOs, no soy, no gluten. And then I bought some and put it aside and then never did a video on it. And now we are mere weeks before the Best Buy date on it. So we'd better go ahead and do the video before presumably just turns into rotten filth. So as I recall, the original Beyond Meat Jerkies that I tried were not totally convincing, but were actually fairly good. The texture was pretty good, the flavor was good, and I'm expecting nothing different from this. And even though I'm sure these words are the same, it's been like literally a couple of years, so let's read the words on the back of the packet. Go beyond snacking with Beyond Jerky. Our tender cuts are marinated, slow roasted, and kettle cooked for a full flavor, delicate bite. Made with 100% plant-based protein without GMOs, soy, or gluten, you can eat more of what you love with no compromises. With 10 grams of protein per serving, it's the perfect snack to keep you going. Beyond Jerky Hot and Spicy, our tender cuts kicked up a notch with tangy chili heat and finished nicely with just the right amount of sweetness. Safe handling instructions. After opening, refrigerate and consume within 3 days. Pack it and close to keep product fresh. Do not eat packet. So that's the part I really don't get about the Beyond, is you have to eat it very quickly, otherwise presumably it turns into filth. And what is this if it's not soy, and it's not GMO, and it's certainly not meat or gluten? What is it made of? The answer is mung beans. Water, mung bean, pea protein, sugar, gluten-free, oat bran, and fiber, and then so on. So yes, it's actually, it's not a super chemically ingredient list. I mean, obviously everything in it's chemicals, everything is chemicals. But I mean, this is all fairly natural stuff. Yeast, expeller pressed canola oil, onion powder, salt, vegetable juice color, vinegar, lemon juice, pomegranate concentrate, spice, garlic powder, autolyzed yeast extract, potassium chloride, acetic acid, citric acid, sunflower lecithin. And then the warning down here that the peas are not good for people who have allergies to legumes like peanuts. So if you have a peanut allergy, you're probably gonna want to give this a miss. So yeah, this has been sitting out for a little while. It is not at its sell-by yet, so I'm sure it should be fine. Let's, not even a sell-by, it's a best before. Let's rip it open and try it out. I liked the other two. It's not like I've bought them regularly. I don't buy jerky regularly, but I did like the original, and I think I like the teriyaki less so. But let's try hot. Ooh, smells good. It's got a very strong scent. It does smell of jerky. To be fair, that's probably mostly like, the marinade and seasoning and stuff that makes jerky smell of jerky. But yeah, it does smell like a spicy jerky. So looking at it, it's the color's a little wrong. It's a little off color for beef jerky, but it certainly smells the part. And I mean, this does look, other than the color being maybe a little light, it does look like something you might pull out of a bag of jerky. So let's give it a try. Actually, let's tear it apart first. You can see kind of the texture of it. So I mean, texturally, it's very similar to some jerkies. Some are a little more processed than others. This does tear apart. It's a little bit stringy, a little bit crumbly, like I would say better jerkies do. So it kind of feels apart. It feels maybe a little dry, a little drier than normal jerky. But let's give it a try. So that's a little dry. but it has that jerky toughness when you put it in your mouth. It does, it resists and still starts to hydrate a little bit. Once you start to work it with your back teeth, it loosens up a little bit. The fibers start to break apart. Spice is nice. It's not overly spicy. It's not overly sweet. But it does definitely have that beef jerky chewiness. And it's good. It could be a little bit spicier, but that's a personal preference thing. Not everybody likes things to be like really spicy. So, your mileage may vary there. If you really don't like spicy things, you're probably not going to like this, but it's not like anywhere near my like spice tolerance or anything like that. But the flavor is good. And as far as it being like jerky, I honestly don't know. If you gave this to me unlabeled and didn't tell me it wasn't beef, I honestly don't know for sure with the strong flavoring in it if I would know, if I could say with confidence that, this isn't beef jerky. Now, if you gave it to me side by side with a similarly flavored actual beef jerky, I feel like I probably would be able to tell them apart. I certainly would feel that the color's off. I mean, beef jerky tends to be a little darker than this. You know what this reminds me of? Looking at it visually, it reminds me of the piece of steak or whatever meat it was supposed to be that came with the Slimer action figure back in the 80s. I think they did it with the reproduction figures when Afterlife came out. They reproduced a lot of the old Ghostbuster stories, including, I think, that original Slimer. This reminds me of the piece of meat that came with that Slimer for some reason. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't look quite right, but it feels about right. Maybe a little more dry, a little more like, I don't know, papery is not quite the word. But I mean, it does string apart very realistically. It's got a really good flavor to it. And I believe it probably cost about as much as real jerky, which to me is kind of a weak point. Jerky is really expensive, and I see no reason why at this point why meat alternatives should cost as much, if not more, than actual meat. I feel like that's where this kind of Beyond Impossible stuff is really going to shine, is when they get us into that, admittedly generally represented as a dystopian future, where synthetic meat is less expensive than real meat. But I feel like this would satisfy my craving for beef jerky. This would be good to have in a pack if I'm in a queue at Disneyland or on a long walk and I need something, because it does have, one serving, so about, serving's half a cup, there's 3 servings in the packet, and one serving has, 10 grams of protein. So if I just needed like a quick protein boost while out in queue or walking or something, I feel like this would absolutely satisfy that desire for me. And it's tough to tear apart with your teeth, just like jerky. But so you can see all the little threads in there. They've, I really think, done a pretty good job of simulating the look and feel of beef jerky. But it does take a while to eat a piece, which is probably good, right? Now the thing is, and this is the biggest weak point for replacing jerky as far as I'm concerned, is the fact it needs to be refrigerated. That, I don't understand why that is. I haven't bothered to look it up. I mean, it's not, but they don't go out of their way to explain it on here either. I don't understand why this needs to be refrigerated. It's not actually meat. And even meat jerkies generally don't need to be refrigerated. So it's not actually beef, but it needs to go in the fridge. And that to me is kind of the biggest failing, because I can't just take a partial packet with me out walking or on a hike then, or, someplace where I'm not going to have access to a refrigerator to put it in once I've opened it, because it is more than one serving there. I mean, you're not meant to eat all that at once. So, I mean, unless I'm carrying a cooler bag with me or something, that's kind of a problem. And that's like kind of the weakest point the Beyond Meat Jerky has at this point, is that you do need to eat it quickly and you do need to refrigerate it. But other than that, I mean, it's a perfectly valid substitute for, actual like dead animal jerkies. Now, am I going to stop eating meat and switch over to nothing but Beyond and Impossible? Well, no, obviously not. But again, it's nice to have the option It's nice that there are choices out there. And for people who do choose, or indeed for dietary reasons can't, eat real meat, it is nice that they have something that is at least very similar. But that's going to wrap this video up. Have you tried any of the Beyond Meat Jerkies? Again, they're not, I don't think 100% convincing. But again, I feel like if you just gave me this unlabeled, I wouldn't know for sure that it wasn't really meat. I definitely feel like I'd notice the color is off. But as far as texture and flavor and mouthfeel, I honestly don't know for sure if I would know. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've tried any of this Beyond Meat Jerky and what do you think of it? Which is your favorite flavor? And I thank you for watching. Hope you found it all interesting and entertaining. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.